What's up, YouTube? This is TheKillerNacho here again, and I have a battle here with a guy named Bobby Hill from the TPX chat. Anyway, so he leads with a Don fan. I decide to lead with my Pixie Dust, which is an awesome lead as Elf. So I'm just going to taunt this Don fan because I'm kind of thinking it'll probably try to set up Stealth Rocks, and it does. So that's pretty nice for me. I'm going to go for the U-turn now. Because I, kind of think he's probably going to try to kill me or something. But he doesn't actually go for the, what's it called? The, ice moves, the, ice shard. So I'm like, maybe he doesn't have it. I'll go out in an Acrobat, because I know Acrobat, even if he does have the ice shard, can probably take it anyway, because he's a bulky son of a gun. But yeah, so he does have the ice shard, which is kind of sucky, but like I said, Acrobat is just a bulky piece of crap, and now I'm just going to fling him a Toxicor, because that's what this Acrobat does. And ironically, he uses the move Acrobat, So that's where the nickname came from. Get it? Ha ha ha. Anyway, so I just fling him my Toxic Orb, which toxics him, and then it gets rid of my item, meaning I can, use the Acrobat thing at full power. So that's what I kind of do. I decided to go for the Acrobat. His taunt wore off, so I kind of figured he'd stay in and try to, set up Stealth Rocks, and that's what he does. And I know I can live an Ice Shard, so I decided to go for an Acrobat on the Switch. I looked at his team, and it is it might, depending on what he goes into, it could be okay. He ends up going into Ferrothorn, which is a freaking annoying piece of crap rape monster, and I'm going to get hurt by Iron Barbs, and that kind of sucks. But, Acrobat does, pretty pitiful damage, so never mind. Okay, so now I'm going to switch, obviously. I go out into Azelf. I know my Azelf has Fire Blast, and I kind of thought that he would think that too, so I think he'll probably switch here. So I go for the taunt, actually. Because I kind of expecting a switch, so I decided not to go Fire Blast. I know he has this bulky water balloon thing in his team, so I figured Taunt's a pretty cool move anyway. He ends up protecting, so now I guess he knows I'm going to go for the Taunt. So yeah, he's going to switch, and I guess he goes into the balloon thing anyway, so that's whatever. So I go for the Taunt again, and that's going to get the Taunt off on the balloon thing, and that's kind of whatever, really. So now I figure, what, I'll set up Stealth Rocks. I think Donphan's weak enough I can finish it off with, a faster poke, so he probably won't be able to get the Rapid Spin off, and it just seemed like a good time to set up the Stealth Rocks. Anyway, he goes Scald, gets a burn, which is kind of lame, but not really important at all. So I go for the U-turn, and that does absolutely nothing, but it does let me get a switch, and I am going to switch out into Neptuna. For the sheer fact that Neptuna has that water absorb thing, and I can roar this guy out. Because I just don't want to deal with this balloon thingy right now. I'm just going to roar it away because, that's what you do with things you don't like. You roar at them. So yeah, so he actually has the Toxic, which is kind of bad for me, obviously, because I didn't see that coming, and I probably should have protected to see if he had the Toxic, but I played like a stupid noob and just went Roar. Oh well, so he gets roared out into Ferrothorn, which is not exactly the best thing that I could have roared into. So I decided to go back into Azelf. The worst thing he can do is kill me, and I happen to have my super special awesome Ferrothorn counter on this team, and it's the best Ferrothorn counter ever. And you will see what it is, I'm sure, in a minute. But anyway, he just sets up the second layer of spikes, which is a pretty good play, I guess. So now I'm just going to go for the Fire Blast, just in case he doesn't feel like protecting. But he does, which is pretty obvious, because it's going to get, the Burn Stall on me and whatever, and, evade the Fire Blast. So now I thought he'd switch, so I just got to go for the U-turn, but he ends up staying in, which actually ends up being better for me in the long run. Yeah, my Azelf dies to the U-turn, recoil with Iron Barbs. But now I get a safe switch into my perfect awesome, well, it's actually not a perfect counter, but it's a freaking awesome counter because it allows it to set up and just be a god. You'll see. I brought Nidanium in this team because I thought, what, I've seen a lot of rape lately. I've seen a lot of rape in the world. I just want to stop it, And by rape, I mean Ferrothorn. So first I go for this sub, because you have to go for this sub if you don't want to get, Leech Seeded. And that's the reason I was afraid to send it in against the Ferrothorn, because I thought he might Leech Seed, and that would really suck, because then I'd have to switch back out. And with all those entry hazards he has spammed on the field, it's just not good. So yeah, so the first thing you do is a sub. A sub is powerful enough to live, Imp Gyro Balls, and also, I think 2 of those, what's it called? Power Whips. He ends up going for the spikes. I'm not really sure why. It was either probably a misclick, or he lost count of how many he had, or maybe he just wanted to scout what I do or something. I don't know. But he, yeah, goes spikes, which is kind of dumb, because that gives me a free charge beam, and that's basically what you do. Nidonium is the freaking best Ferrothorn counter ever, because not only does it counter Ferrothorn, make your opponent feel completely trapped, because he is trapped with Magnet Pull. He can't switch out here. It just makes him feel like he lost power. And then I'm just gonna sub and set up, and set up with charge beams, get plus Imp special attack. And not only will I kill Ferrothorn, but I'll probably kill something else too, because whatever he goes into, I can probably one-hit KO after, all those charge beams. And, Power Whip, actually it doesn't have great accuracy. It has like 85%, so I was kind of thinking, you know what, Power Whip will probably miss, giving me, additional charge beams. But of course it actually never misses for him. He does get a few crits, but I think they're useless because of the second Power Whip anyway, and Power Whip is a 2-hit KO on the sub. And I'm still going sub because I just, yeah, sub is a good move and stuff. Because sub actually protects me from crits. And it also keeps him from using Leech Seed, which I'm not even sure if he has. I don't think I know his fifth move. He has like spikes, and then he has like that Power Whip, and he also has Protect, but I don't know his last move. It's probably Toxic actually with Protect, now that I'm thinking about it. So he actually probably doesn't threaten me any much, but I still go for the charge beam, the sub charge beam. So that's what I'm gonna do. I mean, he can't switch out, he can't do anything. And he's just giving me free charge beams. I have like, what, +3, +4 special attack at this point? It's so ridiculous. He goes for another Power Whip. Ends up getting a crit, so that's going to destroy my sub, obviously. And I only have HP enough for one more sub, so I'm just going to do it and then kill this Ferrothorn. Mainly because, obviously, I want a sub when he goes out into... when I kill this thing, so I can kill some other Pokemon, too. So he goes for another Power Whip. That's not going to crit, so it's not going to kill my sub. And now I'm going to use Hidden Power Fire to rape this thing's face off, because now I have, like... what, +4 special attack. It's not going to survive a Hidden Power Fire, obviously, at this magnitude, and that is a dead Ferrothorn. So basically, I kind of like raped the rapist. Like, I just took its faces, all of its little tentacle things, and just raped them, basically, with Charge Beam. Because now I have like +4 special attack, and I can basically one-hit KO anything. He ends up going to Donphan. I guess he thought he was faster, but he's not, because I am faster, and I just kill him with Hidden Power Fire. I mean, that's not super effective or anything, but with, all that special attack, it's still dead. So now he has to go into something else. He goes out into the Clonkador, which I know has a priority move, so there's nothing I can do about that. He goes for the Mach Punch. It breaks my sub, but I do have Thunderbolt, which is like ridiculously powerful at this point. It doesn't even matter if this is like a specially bulky Clonkador, because, I used this Ferrothorn like a dumb, I just used it. I used that Ferrothorn to set up with Nidonium, and I just killed like 3 Pokemon because of it, because Magnezone is a freaking god. I have no idea why more people don't use it to counter Ferrothorn, because, yeah, Ferrothorn's the most used OU, so why isn't its best counter, in my opinion, Magnezone, something that basically you bring, and if your opponent brings a Ferrothorn, she's screwed. I don't understand why it's not used more. But anyway, so he goes out into, that Victini thing, and it's going to, like, V-create me, which is... nothing I can do about that. I knew he was going to kill me, but I didn't really have enough health to survive entry hazards anyway. So I decide to stay in. He loses speed, obviously. I go out into Royal Pain, my Sheer Force Nidoking, and, yeah, that's going to, like... yeah, use Earth Power and hurt a lot, actually. So I'm kind of hoping, I'm really hoping that with a Sheer Force, Life Orb, Thunderbolt, I can kill this guy. But this thing is so bulky, it survives and gets an Ice Beam off. And I guess he was kind of predicting, probably he was predicting either Vaporeon or Gliscor to go Ice Beam there. But it ends up working in my favor because I think Scald might have killed... maybe not, but it would have been more damage and likely a burn, so... yeah, so now I kill him. And now he goes out into Victini, and Victini gets hurt by my Stealth Rocks, obviously. But I don't want to lose, yeah, actually that was stupid. That was really stupid on my part. Because of all his entry hazards, my Nidoking is probably going to die on the switch-in. But oh well. He goes for the U-turn, and that's not going to be very effective against my bad bird. So he goes out into his last guy, which is Reunicles, and I don't know what this Reunicles is going to do. I decide to go for the spikes, just so, just in case that Victini has a odd number of hit points, he won't get 2 more switch-ins. He'll only get 1 now that I set up a layer of spikes, which is pretty good for me. The Reunicles sets up a Trick Room, which is kind of annoying. He goes for a Psychic, which I resist, but it still does a boatload of damage due to Reunicles having like a million special attack. And then I go Whirlwind, and that's going to Whirlwind out into Victini, and thanks to his Trick Room, I'm faster. So I'm just going to kill this Victini, because obviously I can't let it live and V-create me. So thank you. Thank you very much for the Trick Room. It was delicious. So I just go Brave Bird on Victini, and that's dead. So that's freaking awesome. Unfortunately, he still has Reunicles, and that's Arena Clus, or whatever it's called. I don't really care, honestly. Alien Swag, as he calls it, apparently. And yeah, he's going to go for the hidden power. I'd assume that's ice because it's neutral. And yeah, I just go for the Brave Bird, and that's going to do some damage. I just want to get damage on this guy, basically. And that's going to kill my Bad Bird, but I'm in a pretty good position here. I'm up by a lot. So I go out into Neptuna, and the dimensions are still, like, twisted, so he's going to go first, except I guess I guess maybe he lost count or missed the end of the turn, because he ends up going for Trick Room here, which makes the dimensions go back to normal. And actually, I missed this text too until I like rewatched the battle. So I was actually thinking the Trick Room was up at this time too. So I got really confused. First of all, when Neptuna went first, I'm like, oh, okay. But for some reason, I still didn't catch it. And he goes Psychic, which kills me after the Toxic. So now I just go out into Gliscor, thinking that I probably lost this game because he has a Trick Room up. But because he ends up, you know, not having the Trick Room up, that's a win. Because, yeah, I tried to stall him a turn with Protect. And yeah, so he tries to kill me with obviously Hidden Power Ice, but then I just destroy him with Acrobat because I am faster because the Trick Room is down. That was kind of a misplay on him, but I think it would have ended this turn anyway, so it probably ended up not even matter, but I don't know. Anyway, so that was a fun game, Bobby. It was, yeah, we both made some good plays. It was very close. I really like this battle because of my, my Magnezone. It's a freaking awesome set. It basically counters any bulky steel. It can set up against Bronzong, obviously. It can set up against, obviously, Ferrothorn. That's what it's meant to set up against. Skarmory just kills with Thunderbolt because it can't get away. So it's a pretty damn good Pokemon. I have no idea why this set... Because this set, like, what do you see in this metagame all the time? Ferrothorns? Bronzongs? Skarmorys? Magnezone is so good. People, use Magnezone. You don't like Ferrothorn? Fine. Use effing Magnezone. Anyway, today's question of the day has to do with abilities. What is your favorite Pokemon ability? There's plenty of new abilities in Gen 5. Of course, there's also a bunch of old ones from Gen 4 and below. But I think my favorite ability overall has to be... See, this is hard, because, you know, there's plenty of good abilities that are oldies but goodies, like Intimidate. And, of course, there are a lot of great new abilities, like Iron Barbs on freaking what's-his-face, Ferrothorn. Yeah, and, of course, Magnet Pull's always fun. Of course, the better version, Shadow Tag. So, I don't really know. I have to think. Hold on. And, of course, Sheer Force. I mean, Sheer Force was used in this battle. Freaking Nidoking gets freaking ridiculously powerful with Sheer Force. There's a lot of great abilities. But I think my favorite ability overall would have to be Poison Heal. The more I use it, the more I like it. It just feels like it's just a fun ability to use and abuse, especially on Gliscor, and of course a Breloom too. Breloom loves Poison Heal. It's such a fun ability, such a great ability, because you put it on someone, especially on Gliscor, because you put it on someone bulky like Gliscor. So now you're poisoned, so you can't get any other status on you, assuming you have Toxic Orb. And it's better than Leftovers. And on top of everything else, you know, it just feels good to use. I don't know. I think Poison Heal is probably my favorite ability. So what is your favorite ability? That is today's question of the day. Rate, comment, subscribe, and see you guys next time. Alright, peace out.